24. We are here at our new time, which is 16 UTC is the breakout rooms. And right now it's 15:54 UTC. We're meeting at 15:30 UTC. And so we're breaking into breakout rooms in like 6 minutes or so. And we've just been hanging out, talking about lots of interesting subjects with Marco and Eric and everybody here. And I'll hand it over to Jesse now, who has some, I think, exciting new updates about the bees.
Yeah, today we just came out with an update on comments, and we had to build a whole new system, like internally, to execute that. And so when you order a swarm, you will be seeing better, higher quality comments. And this was the feedback we've been getting from the EOS community. It's definitely much more difficult to do because a like and retweet is objective and a comment is subjective. And so totally different processes in order to execute this. And we launched it yesterday. We did a swarm with Marco and Nova Crypto, and it would just get better and better. We'll be doing training sessions every Thursday at 15 UTC for the bees. Everyone here is welcome to join, but it's going to be super basic because the bees are just beginning their crypto journey. And yeah, thanks for letting me announce that.
Yeah, thanks so much, Jesse. I see Marco has his hands up, so I'll pass it to Marco in a second, but I'll just say that I also experienced that swarm because what Patrick swarmed yesterday was the video and the mind map for the Eden Fractal Brainstorming Session that we did yesterday. We did the first Eden Fractal Brainstorming Session that Patrick has been organizing. And I also have co-hosts and Vlad and Jesse and Lennie and Das and a few other people there, Duane. I'm probably forgetting 1 or 2 people, sorry about that. But that was a great meeting, and that's also public now, so everybody can watch that. And then that was swarmed, and there was lots of great comments from the bees that were like really supportive and insightful and well thought out, thoughtful. So I think it's an awesome improvement, and thank you, Jesse. And I'll pass it to Marco now.
I've been on my own thing on the briefings in the tailing on it or following it up is the idea of community networking. And I'll give you a perfect example of how the new bees thing really and not just save time, but altered my planning that I thought maybe would be a couple of quarters down the road. And that was one of the comments I actually took to the neighborhood comment that I made. That was something I proposed during season 1 or at the end of season 1, beginning of season 2, neighborhood on EOS, community network to that point, because we are working with peer-to-peer networks. Crypto Web3 changes the paradigm on global digital. It's more than an economy. And I thought that would just be ignored entirely this whole time. And I ran through the comments. There are 40 of them or whatever. I really found almost 20 that were really well thought out or kind of in line with the forecast of what I was doing. But that one neighborhood one helped alter the plan as far as networking within the community, within projects. Pomelo or incoming projects, which again, I found another one coming in asking how to do a wallet. Yeah, that was worth a lot. So thanks, Jesse. Thank these, and I'm on the lookout for stuff like that.
Yeah, thanks, Marco. Some of the bees are surprising me that they actually have been paying more attention than I thought they have been. Just a like retweet, you can kind of do that without really paying attention, which helps. It still helps on the algo side. But I know we got 1 minute to the breakout rooms, but thank you for your feedback, Marco.
Yeah, that sounds great. Thank you, Marco, and thank you, Jesse. And yeah, I'm very much looking forward to seeing the evolution of the bees. They're becoming smarter swarmers, and Yeah, I already said before, I won't go on too much, but there's a big difference between just having a number of retweets and likes, which is great, and followers and whatnot, but actually having like thoughtful comments and people who are engaging with it. It's super helpful and super valuable. So thank you again. Hey, Jorge. Okay, we're at 16 UTC. I think it would be good for us to start punctually this time. So we'll break out breakout rooms, and I'll break out. We have 10 people right now, so I'll break out into two groups of 5. I'll also give. I just remembered I didn't give people screen sharing permission, so I'll do that first, and also give people recording permissions too. And if anyone wants to record, then that would be cool. And also my apologies for getting to this earlier. Okay, I just opened the rooms and hope everybody has a great time.
Hey, sir.
Good day, everybody.
Good day indeed.
All right, so I think that there was somebody else. Oh, Marco hasn't joined yet, but
Yes. Should be a 5th one.
yes, yeah, Marco should be here, but apparently he's hanging out in the community room and just chilling,
Taking it easy.
taking it easy, lounging out in the community room couch with nobody around him right now. Should we get started with that, Marco, or should we wait a couple minutes, or does anyone want to tell a story or a funny joke or anything?
I don't have my joking mind on. This is blockchain mind going on.
Well, Lennie, you've always got jokes even for the blockchain. You've always got something.
I got my moments, but that's it.
It made me laugh yesterday in the brainstorming session when Patrick asked you something. You said like that was a big mistake or something.
Yeah. I got a cynical humor, a cynical twist. So you got to really know me to get it. Otherwise, you might get upset.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. I bet Duane's been up to lots of interesting things in alien worlds as well. And Vlad, of course, Vlad's also a counselor now too. So I don't know. I mean, I suppose we should get into consensus and whatnot and not small talk too much, but now Jorge is joining. But also congratulations, Vlad, on being a counselor or a governor. And Duane is also a counselor governor, right? So you guys are both governors. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think we call them candidates, but yeah, it's just starting to get rolling. So we need to find good projects to fund that are going to bring more people to the ecosystem. So yeah, just getting started. But yeah, we've got a stronghold on Eyeke, so we'll hopefully have some more exciting news in the coming weeks here.
Awesome. Looking forward to it. So you're both you're both candidates on Eyeke then?
Yeah, and they changed the terms. So if anyone is voting on Eyeke, you have to refresh your votes and re-accept the new member terms for your vote to count. And then it's a 7-day window. So every Thursday, really early in the morning, the votes get retallied. So every week it kind of changes up. So you never know what's going to happen last minute. So today we're still candidates on Eyeke. Tomorrow we'll see. We need your votes.
Okay, sounds great. Yeah, I still haven't voted yet. I tried, but I got confused by the interface and I came late to the meeting, I think, when you were explaining it. So sorry I haven't voted for you yet, but you guys have my full support and I'm very excited about all the cool things you're doing. And if there's anything I can do to help or if I can go back and vote, then that'd be helpful, then I'd be happy to do so.
For sure. I posted a little video. I'll post it here. I should walk you through the steps. But yeah, the
Cool.
first time was confusing for everybody.
Okay, cool. I'll check out that video. Thank you very much, Duane, and congratulations, the alien governor. All right, so hey Jorge, hope you're doing well. Should we start sharing contributions? Would anybody like to go first?
Hey guys, I'm looking weird today. Sorry, I don't know why.
It looks like your camera is like smudged or something, or you have some weird filter on there.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, guys, who's gonna be first? It's not gonna be me.
Okay.
I can go first.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, I've had a lot of meetings this week with Eric, Lisa Chandler, a lot of kind of brainstorming. So it's more talk, not as much action as I usually like. But yeah, just I guess kind of like the Fractally team was taking a step to really evaluate liabilities and steps on their path. We've all looked forward to the alien world's governance and DAOs coming up. And then once it's launched, it's not as exciting as everyone wished, because we're all really contemplating on, what to do next, where to give our money. So it makes me really value this group and fractal governance on if we could get more people into fractal governance and they were contributing something, there's money to give out, and it's so much easier than doing promises for the future. So the funds right now in, say, our Eyeke fund is maybe 400,000 trillium, which is maybe something like $8,000. And my proposal, I really value what where EOS is right now and the tools we have. So I've reached out to the Pomelo folks, and they'd be more than happy to set up the same Pomelo they have for EOS for Trillium and those type of projects. So it's trying to see how we can have a flow through to really engage people that want to make games and have fun and do events. So really, I've been really focused on that for the Eden Fractal. The really closest I've come to doing some real work for this fractal is just the Alien Worlds fractal. And yeah, just been looking at who's going to help out with some non-transferable NFTs. So instead of tokens for the respect, we're going to do non-transferable NFTs. Yeah, and a lot of discussions around DAX and DAOs, and also setting up a structure, a legal structure. So been really looking at a lot of different jurisdictions, and it looks like most people I talk to, where there's good incentives for crypto, where there's no capital gains, and where there's an easy offshore structure to set up, has been the Marshall Islands. So reaching out to people that incorporate companies there. So yeah, a lot of planning, not a lot of action. I guess that's about it. And then just, I guess, a plug for the Alien Worlds. They have changed the member terms. So if anybody has voted for people, your vote doesn't count unless you go back into the UI and revote. And I just posted a little video on how to do that. I really see it being an exciting, venture for this game that, if we can get this right, hopefully can introduce a lot more people through gaming into DAX and DAOs. And the exciting part is obviously there is funds there. So usually that's something that's stifled us before, is not having funds to do things. So now it's about just working with the right people to have fun. I'm really looking forward to doing a lot of events, and I guess the plug for the Eden Fractal here would be for us to piggyback and do joint events, small ones, virtually, and really finding a nice interactive tool, maybe a little card game to do an intro, to have some fun and be able to give out tokens or do something that's shares some value, both virtually and in person, and then lead these small little meetups to be an end funnel to a bigger event. So really grateful that Eric and some others are helping with that. But yeah, I can't wait to meet and see all you in person. So it'll be fun to kind of plan towards that. So yeah, that's about it. I'll pass it on to Lennie.
Yeah, thanks, Duane. Well, I got my normal story, not very exciting, busy, yeah, sure, but the normal recaps, nothing new there. I do my EOS Eden combined, and I do my Eden member group. I decided to add Eden Fractal as well there as a recap starting next Tuesday. So it's the day before our events, because sometimes it gets a bit messy to keep track of, even for myself, where are we, what do we find, where do we find things and stuff. So I figured it might be helpful for some of us doing that. I'm also looking at a little bit and checking to actually add on the antelope chains, starting with Telos and then probably Wax. UTX, I haven't caught up with them lately, even if I'm a member from beginning, Warbly, etc. So I've been doing a various general stuff, not very heavy duty recaps, and looking at how to format forward and reading up on things, basically. So it's not that much hours in it, but more brain power. And I've been trying to listen into, of course, a little bit of Alien World and similarly, but it's mostly old recordings. I haven't caught anything live yet, but we're getting to that one. Okay, that's all I have actually to add on it, and I'll give it to Vlad after that. Thanks.
Thank you. I had fairly productive week for Eden Fractal. First, I did the UI thing that Patrick requested. So today's it's gonna be a bit different. Then, well, yeah, yesterday was the brainstorming session. Then besides Eden Fractal, I had a call with Jorge. We discussed and we deployed a testing contract so that Jorge could test the tokens out. Then also I had a call with Matthias. We started building a fractal for him, and he's pretty serious about it. And let me share what we have built so far. It's already a little bit more advanced than Eden Fractal. And mostly I've been working on CTF. There was a bug, serious bug. It took me many hours to fix it, but everything is now deployed. Works perfectly. And yeah, that's about it. Dan, would you like to go next?
Yeah, sounds great. I mean, I'm happy to. Thanks, Vlad. I was just looking at the Zeos Fractal website, and it looks really slick. It looks really cool. So thank you, and then thank you for all the great work. Hold on one moment, because Pascal just joined. Where'd Pascal go? I said Pascal joined, and now he's not there. Maybe Jorge would like to go first, and I'll reach out to Pascal while you're going. Oh, actually, he's here now. Okay. I'm happy to go now if I'm happy to go now, or if you prefer to go first, Jorge, that's cool too. Do you have a preference?
No, you go first.
Okay, cool. Okay, great. So yeah, thank you, Vlad. And I'm also really excited to see what you're working on, Jorge and Vlad too. With I remember a week or a couple weeks ago, you talked about setting up the tokens and everything for the Spanish fractal. So that's awesome. And thank you, everybody. Duane and Lennie as well. I'll share some of what I've been doing over the past week now. And where am I? Where am I? Where am I? Okay. Okay. So, okay. So this week, well, just yesterday I published the video from Eden Fractal 23. I had a little intro, and then there's timestamps as well. And I shared this in a bunch of different groups, like the EOS and Eden groups, like 3 or 4 different groups. I didn't promote it a huge amount, but promoting it a bit more because we've been having a bit lower attendance lately, and so good to spread the word more. And also now that we have better production and lots of exciting things happen with Eden plus Fractal, I've been doing this for the past few weeks and will continue to do so. I also published a town hall clip this week where myself and Patrick were explaining the brainstorm activities. I host town halls every Sunday at 16 UTC in the Eden Discord, and share a link, and also have lots of exciting things coming there soon too. So I promoted the brainstorm activities, and I also made a tweet about a new game called Cagendas that I kind of made up this week. We talked about it during the brainstorming session a lot, but basically it's a way where we can, it's a game where we can allocate time in the hour after breakout rooms using potentially either respect points or Eden Fractal delegation or something. It's still kind of early stages, but you can read it at edencreators.com/cagendas, which explains what it is and how to play. And there's also some art. It's a pretty simple game. There's just 4 steps basically. And I'll work more on this, but I'm thankful for talking about this on the meeting yesterday during the brainstorming session, and for Patrick for organizing that. I also participated in that and co-hosted that. That's on Nova Crypto channel. Patrick published it now, so you can learn about Cagendas and everything else that we talked about here. The next one's coming up on the 29th. And thank you to everybody for participating in that as well. And then I retweeted and just helped promote it as much as possible. I retweeted probably like 10 tweets about Eden Fractal from 4 different accounts this week. And then in addition, there was also some great tweets from Jesse and from some of the bees too that I retweeted that we were talking about beforehand too. I also did the MSIG for last week, and I did the consensus results, and there was a discrepancy in the data. So I wrote about this discrepancy in the consensus results channel of the Discord, and then I brought a proposal again to that I made last week about a process to ensure that consensus submissions are correct. So it's not a huge deal. I think that these were pretty agreeable. I don't think anybody had any issues, so I proposed it anyway, and then we got it signed. But that's something that took some time to do, and can be helpful to make this process smoother in the future, so people know what consensus is on chain, and we have a more reliable consensus submission. I also made a bunch of messages in the Eden Discord and Eden Telegram channels, in addition to EOS Telegram channels. So I made some art for the new time, and then I announced the new time in a few different channels, a few different times, to help spread the word about it. And then I also helped promote the new time. Patrick made a great speech in the fireside chat, so I shared that. And then I also made a new event too, and I updated the timing of the event as well. I made a new event because Josh has been the host technically on the page, but he hasn't been here for a while now. And then I also helped promote the brainstorming session once again. And then I made a long reply in the Eden Fractal Telegram channel. I encourage people to join if they haven't already. So both telling people at the time, and then also talking with Pascal. Pascal was asking questions about funding Eden and the way we see Eden and 2.0 and so forth. So I took some time to reply in detail here with some thoughts about it, and also reread and featured some of articles from Das and Andrew Ware, who I think have some great insights for how we can help fund the Eden. And then I also put together a page at edencreators.com/funding, which is a very, very basic page right now, but for a while I've been thinking about how to raise funding for the Eden community in the best ways. And so I have a lot of notes that are offline right now that I'm going to be adding to this page, but basically I just started to put together a bit of a framework for this page about how we can raise funding. So there's quite a bit here. It's also curating some other articles I've been writing for a while, and other things that people have been doing for a while. to help show how to raise funding and to help raise funding for Eden. And then also I hosted the full town hall. I'm going to have the full video coming out with that, as well as a clip specifically about Hive, because Joaquin from the Hive team joined. And so he shared a great thing that's coming out soon. I'm working on that. And I also put together a page at edencreators.com/Hive, which I'm working to curate Hive stuff, also early work in progress. And then I'm also, one of my main projects this week is launching the Creator Talk podcast with Das. So I edited this a lot and I think it's really cool, but I'll share more about that soon, hopefully later today. So that's it. And I'll wrap it up there. Thanks. Sorry, that was a little bit long. Does anybody have any questions for anybody or any thoughts, or shall we go on to consensus?
It's my turn.
Oh, yeah, sorry, Jorge, I totally forgot. My bad.
Okay, relax. So I'll share my screen too. So if you guys go to the Block Explorer, see. As Vlad just mentioned, we had a meeting this week in which we deployed the smart contract, the same smart contract we have for the Eden Fractal. We did it for the Spanish-speaking Fractal in order to do some testing with the Spanish-speaking community, which is not as tech-savvy as people here. So the test account is this one. And you guys can see there, the contract is already deployed. And we had the Spanish-speaking meeting last night. That was our meeting number 14. And if you see the activity of this account, you can see that 1 billion Eden, the Spanish-speaking Eden, were created. So that's our test token. And last night we were doing, well, testing with the community, teaching them how to do transfers and how to install Anchor wallets and basically how to do the basics. We are having some issues with the Anchor wallet because it seems that several of the brands that South America cell phones have are not supported by Anchor. Many of these brands are of Chinese origin. For example, Redmi, which is a pretty big mobile phones brand, is not supported by Anchor. So here you guys can see the transfer we did last night, testing our Eden token, which is the Spanish-speaking Eden token, which is different from this Eden, of course. And we are this week about to set up the multi-sig in order to do some testing before actually proceeding to the actual Respeto token. So I think that's it for me. And thank you all.
Thank you, Jorge. Thank you very much. How is the Spanish Fractal going? As far as, like you said, 14-week now, so that's awesome. I didn't realize it was so long. Are people enjoying it, and are many people participating?
Yeah, I've observed something in these fractals and that is global among all of these fractals, and that is that people initially comes very curious, and then they start to think and realize what the whole mechanism is about, and then they began to organize themselves in order to do more and more serious contributions. And after some time, contributions become better and better, and it's very interesting that contributions grow. I mean, quality of contributions grow at a faster rate than new member input. pretty much as we were facing on the Genesis fractal, and as we are facing here. So all of these fractals, interestingly, are in the need for inviting more people.
Okay, great. Well, yeah, I'm glad to hear that people are contributing there. And I agree that I think we're at a point now when like we have a lot of things in process that are ready to go, and we can invite more people and spread this process with a lot more people. So thanks so much, Jorge, for leading that initiative in the Spanish-speaking world.
Yes, thank you too.
Also, by the way, too, I have the Fractal account name on EOS too. I noticed that you had like a account name that was a little bit confusing looking. I don't know if it means something in Spanish, but if anybody ever wants something .fractal, like with EOS, I have Eden.fractal, but you can make anything .fractal, like alien.fractal or something like that. Or I mean, it's got to be under 12 characters. So I don't know if you can do Spanish.fractal or something like that. But if you have any ideas, then feel free to reach out, and I'm happy to share that account name on EOS, so you can use different kinds of fractals and things like that as well.
But if you said we can have account names with the .fractal extension on EOS.
Yeah.
But fractal already has 7 characters plus the dot. That will be 8 characters. So we will be allowed to have only 4 characters left.
I believe that with the dot, you can go up to 13 characters, including the dot. So I think that the way it works is you can do 5 characters .fractal. So if you have something like alien .fractal would work, I'm pretty sure, because that's 5 characters.
Great. Wow. So did you buy that domain?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I bought it. What's that?
Sounds funny. Sounds quite cool.
Yeah, it's awesome, and it makes it easier. People just go to Eden.fractal. I bought it right before we started the fractal meetings. It costed like 90 EOS, something like that, or 80 EOS. So, and now I can make any kind of fractal out there as well too, or as long as it has less than 5 characters.
Okay.
And I'm very happy to spread it, for people like you guys who are starting fractals. If Matthias is interested in Zeos fractal too, Zeos.fractal, that could work as well. Or if anybody has any other ideas, if Vlad wants to make, I don't know.
I thought about it today, but I already created one account today. But maybe let's do it still with the .fractal. Let's see.
Okay, cool. Yeah, sounds good. Feel free to reach out. Okay, cool. I guess while Jorge is cutting open a watermelon or something, then we can go down to consensus.
It's a huge avocado.
Oh, what, an avocado?
Look,
it looks like a mango.
Yeah, it's huge.
What? I've never seen such a big avocado before.
Yeah.
That's unreal. It's like dinosaurs.
You don't have these on Chypre in Cyprus, right? Nor in Europe, Lennie and Vlad. You don't know what you're missing, guys.
Sorry, never been a friend of avocados except for in salads.
I eat one of these each morning for breakfast.
That's crazy. I have an avocado tree in my backyard for the first time ever, and it's such a gift. But yeah, they're small. That's incredible.
It's a big one.
Yeah, I think my avocado is like 5 times smaller than that.
$1.
Be a big, wow, awesome.
$1 I paid for this.
Good deal.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so should we do consensus now, or any other questions or comments first? Okay, is everybody ready? Should we do a 3, 2, 1? 3, 2, 1, and go. Okay, so I have 3. Vlad has 2. I voted for Vlad, and Vlad voted for me. So thanks for the votes. I voted for Vlad for many reasons. He's doing awesome work that he has been doing for a long time, and just being a great guy, a great leader in general. But then I think what he's doing, working with Jorge, with Spanish Fractal, and working with Matthias for the Zeus Fractal, and helping to spread the Eden Fractal software is super, super important. And that provides foundations for communities to grow and use this fractal process. So I'm really appreciative of that. Thank you, Vlad, as well as you said other things too, other meetings and other work, and with CTF and with consortium and everything like that too. So I appreciate a lot, and that's why I voted for Vlad, and I appreciate everybody's vote. I'm happy to go either way, but I am happy to advocate for Vlad here.
I'll also be happy to advocate for Vlad, and the reason is that, first of all, he was really productive this week, and each of these contributions are exponential in the sense that we can build upon them. The Spanish-speaking fractal is going to grow upon what he did, and also the CS fractal, and also the UI. So these are pretty high-level contributions. It's not like having a comment on a Telegram chat or retweeting something. Is like really hardcore stuff. So I really advocate that we guys vote for Vlad for highest contributor this week.
I can put in, I had basically Dan and Vlad about the same. And then I've been twice with Dan the last couple of bundle of weeks or something. And both those times I had to knock him down a couple of pins because there were just so good ones on top. But even Dan had done good jobs. So therefore he got the higher end. But I'm okay to change actually to Vlad also, similar, and join. And then we get a consensus on Vlad. Because as you say, that's high level, is good, is productive in really in a high degree, that sense.
Thank you.
And Vlad contributed, made a multi-sig for us on Alien Worlds. I was having trouble with my anchor. I can't add extra keys for some reasons. I'm not sure why. I reached out. It seems like just a me problem. I think I have so many accounts. Maybe I've maxed out anchor on Wax and EOS. I don't know. But yeah, God, it's through some tough spots to get things approved. And then as a candidate on Alien Worlds, and we have to vote and come to consensus there as well. So did that as well. So I agree. I changed my vote to Vlad.
We have 4 votes for Vlad now.
Okay, sounds good. We have consensus.
Right.
Okay, we can move on to level 5. Okay, sounds good. 3, 2, 1, and go. Okay, thank you, everybody. There's only 4, but that's consensus. Okay, we can go on level 4 now. Three, 2, 1, and go.
Unanimous. Thank you, guys.
Okay. Level 3. Lennie, you're muted, I think. I think you're trying to say something.
Frankly, guys, I've never been familiar with Alien Worlds community, and it feels like it can have a big impact on EOS, but I wouldn't know how to quantify it. So I wouldn't know how to grade Duane's work versus Lennie's work. I'd like to hear a little bit more about it. not from Duane, but from Vlad and Dan.
Yeah. So I'd like to hear Vlad's thoughts too, and I'll say I think it's super valuable what Duane is doing with Alien Worlds for EOS and for Eden and in general for people and for practical cooperation. So I've been participating in almost all of the Alien Worlds fractal meetings for the past 4 months now. We've had like 20 something of them, I think. And Duane does an awesome job hosting them. There's a lot of the same people, and then a lot of new people and different people. Several of the people from the Alien World Fractal have joined in recent weeks. The Eden Fractal. There's a lot of synergies in the communities. Like if you remember Lisa, she joined, and she joined a few times. She invited Eric, who's here today, and Extra, who's here today. They both came from the Alien Worlds community, like primarily, I think, before they joined the Eden Fractal. And then there's also Stephen, who joined a couple weeks ago too. So a lot of people who are joining from both these, and also people from the Eden community who are joining Alien Worlds Fractal meeting, like myself and Vlad and Jesse. And then, yeah, I mean, so Alien World is built on Wax, so it's built on another Antelope chain. It's the most popular game in the world on blockchains, as far as I understand, and it's got a really exciting community. Like there's lots of really smart people there and cool art and cool stories. And so I'm really excited about how it makes it more game and fun and exploring and alien worlds and all sorts of cool, fun things with new players, helping people play these games and cooperate fractally. And so there's a lot of intermixing communities, and then a lot of the developments, like technologically or tools or whatever processes, they also help each other because we're both building similar things. I can go on and on and on about it too. I've also written a page about it a little bit on the Eden Creator site that I'll link to at, I think, edencreators.com/alienworldsfractal. But that's my high level overview here. And I'll pass it over to Vlad if Vlad would like to share, or Jorge, or anybody else.
No, I think that's enough. How many people is attending the Alien Worlds Fractal currently, Duane?
It ranges from 9 to probably maximum of 3 rooms. So we haven't engaged enough people over that are trying out this new governance. But if I was to tell you why it's important for EOS, is that the game really took off when it bridged over to Binance chain, and bridged over to other chains. So with IBC coming, I'm going to propose to bridge over to EOS and unite that community. And really for, there's a number of reasons, but the most important reason is I want to give the funds that we get into these DAOs. So the game is given the DAOs part of the game's funds, and now we have to choose how to spend the money. And there's 6 planets. So for the planet that we're part of, that's it's called Eyeke, and Eyeke, kind of E for EOS, is to bridge over to EOS and then to use Pomelo, and really selfishly to make my job easier and to get me out of liability, and also to have matching funding so the community can do what Pomelo does well, is quadratic funding, so that it's just not me as a candidate that says, here, I'm going to give money to Dan because I like his project. We could use Pomelo to match funding and get other projects built for Alien Worlds. So it's up to us, really. The future of Alien Worlds succeeding is up to candidates now to bring other excitement and other games to the system. So they've done well to make the base platform and have a lot of players. But if it's going to continue, it's kind of up to us to put this money to work and do something interactive. So it would be a nice win-win-win if we can find a fun game or some sort of card game or NFT game that would be on EOS and fund it through Pomelo. So
great, thank you.
If I may, it's a no-brainer because Duane's work, I didn't know much about the alien world or anything. I'm not a game player, but I decided to start when Lisa did her attacks here a couple of weeks back, not attacks, but poaching a bit and trying to get interest. I decided to get in and have a look around again on NFTs and stuff, and particularly the area of alien world, which includes that too, although not as much more metaverse. But after all that reading up and similar and see where they are today and Duane's efforts, there's no doubt it's a lot of work. And right now they're coming into the governance really right out with legal and trying to understand the legal status. I follow the Telegram channels and stuff. So definitely, no doubt, he have worked harder than I have, even this week, I would say. Thanks.
Yeah, I'd also just like to invite you, Jorge, to join if you're available on Thursdays at 16 UTC. They're great meetings, so pretty similar to here, and then you can experience it for yourself too. I'm not sure if you've been there, Lennie, too. Maybe I've seen you. I don't think so. I don't remember, but I invite everybody to join.
I think I missed most of them. I was in one of the meetings here last couple of days, but not the real one. I've had some bad luck, but I'll find my way.
Okay, sounds good. Looking forward to it. Yeah, that's at 16 UTC. So, and thank you, Duane, for all the great work that you're doing with the aliens. Okay, should we do level 2 consensus now, or level 3 rather? We're level 3, sorry. Okay, I'm ready. 3, 2, 1, and go. Okay, Duane has 3 votes, and Lennie has 2 votes, and it looks like they voted for each other. Would you like to share why you voted for each other? Or, I mean, we kind of did that a bit already.
I said it was a no-brainer, so come on, guys. Duane is the one.
Well, so my reasoning for voting for Lennie too, so I of course appreciate Duane's work greatly too, but I also really appreciate everything that Lennie's been doing, especially in the past week. Lennie participated in the town hall session and the brainstorming session and shared a lot of great thoughts. And he's also starting up the Eden Fractal recaps as well. So that's really valuable. I mean, Lennie's been bringing a lot of value and creating value, making it much easier for people to understand and follow along with these communities for a long time with Eden and Fractally, and now doing it specifically for Eden Fractal. It's also really helpful and in general, just being a great community member and supportive and helpful and insightful. So that's why I voted for Lennie. So I don't think it's a no-brainer. I think that you guys are both doing amazing work, and I'm really appreciative of both you guys.
Yeah, I voted for Lennie because I appreciate even more now being more involved in all these channels and just trying to find, it's just so much. So I just appreciate all the work you've done. I appreciate it more now, having to siphon through all this governance talk in alien worlds and go, man, I need Lennie over here to give me like a recap. So
it's coming, but not yet.
So
okay, we have,
and you know, I'd push it over. You know, there's been lots of talk and work, but I like action, and like I kind of explained in my talk, there's been just more talk than action. So I'd maybe give me votes in the upcoming weeks when I can post some more actionable events and proposals and things more related to the Eden Fractal. So I'd say for consensus, I'd say let's vote for Lennie here. But I appreciate your nice words and participation, guys.
Okay, I'll change my vote for Lennie then.
I don't change my vote because then I get Jorge on my back. Joking.
I think we have consensus when we have 3 out of 5, right?
No, 4. We need 4. It's only
4 out of 5.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
we need 4 out of 5.
Yeah, that's correct.
Wow.
Have you thought about starting a Swedish fractal?
I got so much to do right now myself. Right now, we'll see how this Pomelo season turns up. You know, similar, so I can for help because I still have to get some daily bread and stuff. Similar, you know. So I tried the politician way and similar, but they are weekend warriors, so many of them, when they're not sitting in parliament making money. So, but it's in the back of my mind, yes, a little bit.
So shall we vote again? I don't see if we have consensus already or not.
Well, Vlad voted for Lennie, so I think that makes it 4 out of 5. I think everybody said they're willing to vote for Lennie except for Lennie himself.
Okay.
Okay, so we have consensus, and now we have 11 minutes to, or probably 12 minutes to decide on a delegate. Who would like to be a delegate?
Got Vlad and Dan, hands up.
I am already delegate for another 2, and it's enough to be for 1 session, so to say. So I'm okay.
Okay. Duane and Jorge, are you guys interested in being delegates for this time?
I'm curious about it. And that this is the question relates to if we want to go to the post breakout meeting, right?
Yeah, so I mean, the delegates would be making decisions during the post breakout meeting. So in the hour after the breakout room ends, that's when delegates would be making decisions on proposals.
I'm curious about going to this post meeting, but I don't feel like voting, so I'll pass for today.
Okay, sounds good. And Duane? Oh, sorry, Vlad, what were you saying?
One of these weeks I will, but I'm a little bit behind on my other commitments. So for this week, I'll pass.
Okay.
Are you already a delegate then?
Yes, so I was elected delegate. I'm getting a bit confused. It'd be helpful if we have the spreadsheet or if it shows it on chain easily. I don't remember if it does. I think you showed me a link somewhere where it does, but I was elected delegate in week 1 and week 3, I think, when we first started doing it. So the week 1 is expired now, and the week 3 continues. This is week 6 as Eden Fractal, I think. So I'm in my 3rd week, I think, of the second one.
Let me check.
And if I remember correctly, Vlad, I think you were in week 2. So you're at the last week of your term, or?
I think then I'm no longer. So it was the 2nd time we did this thing. So yeah, it would be nice if the UI would show who is currently.
Yes, it would be. That'd be great if you could build that at some point soon. I'm also planning to reach out to you, Vlad, about some interesting new features and stuff. So at some point we can have a discussion again like that, including that feature. But I think last week I asked you about this and you shared links to EOS authority or blocks where it showed it pretty clearly.
But the thing is that I don't remember. You have to query by the meeting number. So I found one.
I think I saved the link you sent me, so I'll try to find it. Oh, there's this one. I'll check it. Also, the spreadsheet has it too. If we can find the spreadsheet that the DOS posted.
What was it called?
What, the spreadsheet?
Mm.
Oh, I don't know what it's called. I mean, I think he shared it in the Discord. This is like this is like top-notch disorganization right now as we're trying to figure who's a delegate. But
I think I'm not anymore.
What's
Yeah.
that?
I think I'm not delegate anymore.
Okay. I mean, I suppose we could just check out the oh, wait a second.
I just posted the consensus
No,
as I have it. Please, guys, check your spellings.
It looks correct to me.
Yeah, looks good. I posted mine, but I had yours wrong, Jorge, so I changed it to immortal.
Immortal. So does anybody have the link to the app?
Yeah, I can share that. And then Vlad also just shared the thanks, Duane. Duane already shared it. And then Vlad also just shared the document that has the delegates. So now it's clear. So Council 1 is done, and Council 2, I believe, is done this week, right? So this week we'll have Council 3, 4, 5, and 6, which would be voting on proposals for this week. So Vlad was elected into council in Council 2, so Vlad's term is over, and then I was elected into council in Council 3. So I have this week as a council member, and then it'll be over after that. So I mean, are there any big proposals that we should like deliberate? I think that we both do a good job, and there aren't any like major proposals that we consider passing this week or in future weeks. I don't really know how to proceed here. I'd be happy to be a delegate, but also I'd be happy for Vlad to be a delegate too. So does anybody have any thoughts, or Vlad, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I'll
some
vote
thoughts. Sorry to interrupt. I'd say Vlad, and then that will probably all come to consensus to make sure you're in there next week, Dan.
I'll vote for Dan, in the sense that if I think about the community as a whole, I think that we incur in a higher opportunity cost by having Vlad assisting to these voting sessions, which are pretty much politics. I think Vlad is much more useful taking his time on coding and doing these very hardcore production that he does. So I'll give my vote to Dan for delegate this week.
Thanks, Jorge. And yeah, the only one thing that I have with concern with Vlad is we've spoken this several times before about like the idea of making the Eden token liquid. I don't think that's a good idea anytime in the near future. But I don't think that's something that would be under discussion over the next 4 weeks. But that's the only thing that that caused me hesitancy. And I think that Vlad could handle both the development and the delegation great if he's doing as long as he's not pushing to make the token liquid soon. But then yeah, I'm also focusing on this full time, and I'm writing all these documents and thinking about it deeply too. So I'd be happy to be a delegate to Vlad, do you have any thoughts, or Lennie? We have about 3 or 4 minutes left.
Yeah, well, myself, I'm 50-50 in between. I'm not quite sure. I do agree with Jorge's evaluation of things as well, and similar. And but then at the same time, Dan is kind of the face outward and all these kind of things, and he possibly get more comments direct in different areas. So for that reason, I want to really be sure that Dan is there and doesn't miss out, and always have a good voice in there. That's my, sorry, I was a little bit sorting out some things here, so I didn't get over discussion earlier, but I would feel for Dan and put Vlad up next time, you know.
And just to clarify,
sorry, but I did read it right that Vlad is in as a delegate still now, eh?
No.
He's not.
Vlad's term is over as of this week, and my term will be over as of next week.
Yeah.
So do we have any important decisions pending? I mean, what are we going to talk in the post breakout rooms time?
I mean, there's some proposals that nobody's pushing too hard. Like I know that CSC and Lennie mentioned the idea of having a second meeting. I think that would require more deliberation, and I wouldn't be willing to pass that right now, but I'm definitely open to the idea. There's also ideas. I made a proposal about having it so that we have rules where people have to come to consensus on chain in order to get respect. But I don't know. Nothing is like really urgent right now, so I'm not sure if we'll have proposals immediately. Vlad, do you have thoughts?
The urgent thing is to get the post-breakout room meeting structured, so to get that agenda in place so that we could really start like getting those proposals passed. Otherwise, we're like losing time. And yeah, I don't think we will pass it today, considering that Dan wanted to make some like additions to his proposal. Then Tadas wanted to also give some his ideas. So yeah, so today I don't think we'll pass anything.
Yeah, I agree. And I think both of us have been paying pretty close attention to that too, and we're both aligned and just trying to make it work as well as possible. So I think in that regard, both of us would do a good job of picking a good agenda system. Although we might have some different preferences, but I completely agree with everything that you shared as far as feedback so far, and your proposal as well. I'm looking forward to exploring that more, and hopefully we can get it passed, something passed next week.
Next week we need to do it.
I'm just thinking, Dan, if you get re-voted when you're already voted in, and that continually happens, it doesn't give enough other room for other people. You know what I mean? If you have a 3-week term, but people re-elect you every 2 weeks, maybe it's better to have more people on there than, because if it's just a trend all the time, that's you get re-elected, there's not as much resiliency to have other people. So I would do it even if it wasn't Vlad. If anybody else stuck up their hand just because they wanted the opportunity, I'd say for them to get in, and that I'm pretty confident next week. If you're in my room, you'll 100% have my vote to keep you in there, because you are the guy doing kind of leading this and doing a lot of the work. So I guess that's just the risk. If you have enough confidence that your group, when you do come up to be expired next week, will re-elect you in, and I can't see why not. But yeah, that would just be my thoughts.
Yeah, thanks, Duane. I think we have like a minute left, so we should come to consensus soon. I think there can be value in people being a delegate twice. Like, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think it can be helpful. But also, I think Vlad is very thoughtful and a great delegate too. So I'm really happy to go either way. And thank you as well, Lennie and Jorge, for your support. Vlad, do you have any thoughts or?
But to respond to Jorge, like, I will still stick around for the hour. So
that's what came to my mind, that Vlad is not in now in this meeting after. He still have to stick around because he's the master of a spreadsheet and stuff. Okay, anyone can do it, but he's still filling a key role there, kind of, and keeping a little peace in the voting order of meetings I've seen earlier.
Well, if Vlad wants to stick around, I mean, if he's sticking around anyway, then I'll change my vote for Vlad. Because
I put it at Vlad actually right now, if we're gonna do it.
Because before taking any decision, we need to take into consideration technical feasibility.
But Dan, I mean, I think most of us would like to see him in the lead in most discussions and similar. Not in the lead, but to be part of those discussions, of course. So he will be a given next time, I'm sure.
Okay, that sounds good. Yeah, I'm happy to vote for that as well. And great discussion. I'll also have to close the room, so it'll end in 6 seconds.
Pretty funny when you press submit. This is Patrick speaking. So Patrick got in the middle of the UI here. Hey, that's so funny.
Wait, what's that?
When you just press submit on the web app, and you'll see what I'm saying.
Oh,
all we need now, if we just had like a little audio when you press it and it says yeah. Oh, it says yeah, baby. Oh,
yeah, baby.
Perfect.
Okay.
That's awesome.
It looks like Patrick hacked the system or something. Okay, cool. Great meeting, guys. Yeah, thanks everybody.
Thank you, guys. Enjoy very much this room.
Likewise. I'll be right back.
Hey, if anybody wants I have a collection on Pomelo of projects that I've directly interacted with the creator. So anybody at these meetings, that way I can say, look at this collection, every single one of them. I know the creator and heard what they've had to say or have an idea of what they're doing. But I'm only including those that under review or have just been added for the season 4. So if you've already submitted one, feel free to add it to the collection if you can. Otherwise, I'll do it. The link's in the chat.
Yeah, Duane, I was asking Marco and Pascal for help on submitting our Pomelo.
I'll read it. Give me
Yeah,
a
I'm
second.
also,
For governance and Art Center for Governance and Center for Art.
All right, so great. Sorry, I missed a moment. I had to go do something, but sounds cool. And yeah, there's lots of Pomelo pitches too. So I encourage everybody to support people with Pomelo pitches in the Eden community and the Eden Fractal. I think most people here have a Pomelo pitch. So I'll be supporting everybody here because you guys are all doing awesome projects, I think, and encourage everybody to also support each other. And hope everybody had a great meeting. Hope you had a great breakout room.
Well, yeah, so Duane and I are talking about how do you connect a real world organization, in this case, to art organizations, music, art, video, with the Eden, with Alien Worlds. So we're trying to take those things that are working and put them all together by saying, how do we integrate them? So we're talking about creating a space that brings in Eden Fractal methodology and tools with a real world people doing art. And governance. We want to talk about governance. So we're talking about making a center point to talk about governance.
Super cool. Sounds amazing. Is this what you're planning to do with Pomelo? Are you planning to put a Pomelo pitch up for this?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what we're working on.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, I'd love to help if you want help with anything or feedback or discuss it. I think that's really cool. And that's also pretty similar to what I was thinking too. Eric and I were talking before the call that I was thinking about how we could perhaps package what we have with Eden Fractal and like the tools we have and all these processes that we're building for both the Fractally process and the Eden Plus Fractal process and the tools we have, and then package in like a simple website that's people don't have to know about Eden and don't have to know about Fractally and all these different things, but different communities like artists could use it and have like a brand experience that feels comfortable.
So we talked about branding the tool set, whatever we call it, that can change, but here's the collection of tools you need, and then talking about branding an organization, and they could even be the same, that markets, sells, delivers, consults, works with organizations to be able to implement those tools.
Yeah. Sounds really cool. And I'm looking forward to seeing what you do and working together on this. I see Mark has hands up, and Pascal, were you going to say something too?
Yeah, I was talking about how we can use this platform, just Eden Fractal meetings, to give to those who want to pitch their project. Like this formulating, we have 4 weeks to go, like 3 to 4 weeks. So I would propose that if somebody want to pitch his project, we can charge him 2 EOS, so or 3 EOS. So just to keep it fun, like if you have a project you want to pitch the community that we are building, it costs 3 EOS, because everything's building on EOS. So it's a suggestion also, so that we manage our time very, very carefully, and then we, but it's a proposal. It's not a. If we want to charge people to pitch their project, so it's an idea.
Very interesting idea. Thanks for sharing, Pascal. I have some thoughts about this, but first I'll pass it on to Marco. Do you have any thoughts about this, Marco, or other thoughts?
Yeah, no, starting before getting to Pascal's thing, charging, can we make use of teams on Pomelo and then showcase our team spirit or what we've done in season 4 as a team, and then bring in the charging thing. Is anybody part of a team? Know what's how that works?
No.
What team do you mean? Like team functionality with fractally or?
On Pomelo, they ask if you're part of a team. It's one of the questions there. I don't know if it's new or not. I'm guessing that since people have multiple projects, that one team could span several projects. By doing that, if we, I don't know what's possible with it, but we could be both. Here we already have the meeting, which is probably a lot harder than forming the team. Let it grow from there, and then have either part of this meeting or another day or another time to have people who are outside of meeting to promote the project, and then you have the cycle of them either wanting to join Eden or just the message getting out. But yeah, there's a team section on Pomelo.
I haven't heard of it, or I think maybe I saw it last season, but I'll have to look back into it though and further explore it. It sounds like an interesting idea as well that maybe we could use to the benefit of the community. Thanks for sharing, Marco. Eric, would you like to share your thoughts next?
Yeah, so I just was, Jesse brought up the idea of tardiness. First of all, I'm into that. We talk about doing a group or whatever to create the tools and organization. Cool. But Jesse brought up the idea of tardiness. And I was making the point that the more formal you make an RSVP, even checking a box, I will be on time, the more likely people will be. The other thing we talked about is, do you get a reward for showing up on time? And Jesse brought up the point of, well, but if you don't show up on time, you can't vote. So it's already included. My feeling
Maybe
is
introduce the problem first, Eric.
Okay. Go ahead.
So, okay, yeah, sorry. So the problem is that when someone is late to the breakout room, it changes what the consensus ends up being, because there's an inherent penalty. Like, for example, Pascal was late to our breakout room and he did not vote. And because he's not voting, he is inherently losing rankings, or potentially losing rankings, because he does not have a vote to influence the system. So from what I think, like, the intended influence of the parties is altered because of tardiness, and this is maybe a problem. So yeah, go ahead, Eric.
And my point is, while inherent is nice, explicit is better. Because if you rank something that's, oh, this kind of inherent part, it doesn't psychologically come through. I know in marketing, we try and make things as clear and upfront as they can because it affects human behavior more. So that was my point. If you're late and something, it's kind of like if you're trying to discipline a dog and they do something and then later they don't get, well, that's kind of how people are on an emotional level when you deal with that part that makes decision making, as long as there's a deal in there. For example, if we're all meeting to go work out, the fact that we promise each other to show up and we're expecting each other, and the more that in, the more like we're going to show up at the gym. And the second thing is, there's an immediate feedback that, oh, you're late, that's there. So the more explicit you can make it is usually better. That's just my thoughts.
And then it may also be difficult to apply that in all groups. Since we are in the breakout rooms, it can be applied in a group, like in the 6 group can come into consensus that the person who is late in a consensus way will not be voting, or he will not receive rewards. But you cannot apply that to all the groups, because every group is different. So it may be difficult to implement, to put it into effectiveness. Yes. But group consensus, I believe in, if we just keep it as like each group has the power to come to consensus on what they want, because we are independent individuals. So I withdrew myself because I thought, okay, I'm late. I didn't listen to other speeches, so I may not have all the elements to vote. So I withdrew myself. But the group could have said in the consensus, okay, we want to hear, we want to pitch back so that we have a consensus decision there. So
Yeah, good points. Thank you, Pascal and Jesse and Eric. So a couple different topics. I think there's two main topics that are being discussed here, or that have been discussed over the past couple minutes. So one is the idea of setting up some sort of rules whereby we clarify what to do about people who are joining late. And then the other topic is about the idea of, like Pascal mentioned before, about people paying for speaking time, so to say. And so one, yeah, I'm interested to explore it. Pascal, you made good points that can be determined on a community room basis, on a breakout room basis. So people in the breakout room could determine that. And so we wouldn't want to make rules that are too restrictive that prevent that from happening, because I don't know, sometimes it is like a case-by-case basis whether somebody shows up a bit late and whether there should be if they're able to participate or not. And I think that having some flexibility is there good. This is also related to a proposal I made a couple or last week too. I made the proposal called "Should we implement the following process to ensure that consensus submissions are correct?" So maybe I should share my screen actually briefly, because there was this is it's not the same topic about people being late, but it is similar and it has come up several times before. Like the past couple of weeks, we started a bit late because there was like 13 people, which is an awkward number for the Eden Fractal smart contract services. So it'd be good to have a protocol. I mean, unless we want to just play by ear every time, that's okay too. But like exploring making protocols so that people aren't late, or that there's clear rules about when we'll start and what to do if people are late and so forth, like that might be helpful. And then the past 2 weeks, there were issues with the consensus submissions. So for example, I posted this in the Eden Discord last week. Pascal, you had Eric at 6, but then 3 other results had me at 6. So, and that happened 2 weeks ago with much bigger discrepancies that we wound up resolving as well. So like, it'd be great to have some rules in place to help us facilitate these decisions and do it in a way that like everybody's in agreement with the community. And so we can do that now with the Eden plus Fractal process. I can share those links or share the screen, but I've been going for a while, so I'll just keep it at that for now, and then I can share more details about that later. And then the idea about people paying for like speaking time, I think that makes sense, like logically. Like Dan Larimer said something at a Fractally Genesis meeting a while ago that's like, speaking during these is like consuming a public good from the community, or it's consuming a community good, because everyone's attention, people's time and attention is valuable. And so it makes sense that if somebody's consuming a public good, then there should be some payment to the community. And that can work in different ways. And we can also figure out how to do that with the Eden plus Fractal process and with our consensus too. I'm not sure if EOS would work, because like who would get the EOS and who would receive the EOS? That would be a little bit confusing. And so I'm interested to explore that. And since we're working with EOS, that might be a great idea. The things that I've been thinking about sort of similar lines is we've been talking about agendas proposals. And just 2 days ago, I made a new kind of game I called it Cagendas. And this is a proposal for a possible way that we could allocate speaking time. It's using the Eden respect points or tokens or whatever you want to call them. And it's not really a payment, because basically they would replenish at the end of the meeting, but that would have a way where we have kind of a allotment of resources where people can have a limited amount of resources, or it could be done via the Eden plus Fractal delegates, possibly with Jorge's suggestion of having 100 votes per delegate. But that can be a way, and I think this is a high priority. Vlad and I were speaking about this, about having some sort of agenda system that also enables people to kind of allocate time, pay for more time in some sense. But Yeah, I'll just leave it at that for now and pass it on to Marco. I have a lot more thoughts about this, but I've been talking for a while.
I'm not against paying to speak. I just say that right out there. Time is money. Is essentially what we're talking about here. That and I know some people really shy away from that. The thing I'll say is that freedom of speech and freedom not tied to money. That's just proven over time. So a way to keep it all in line is to have a path to free speech where people don't have to fork out any actual money. They can attain it through work and work that's systematic, not granted at one's discretion. And it doesn't have to be much. So the idea of using Eden tokens, having a pool that people who say attend 3 meetings or whatever, get that and use that for speaking time, or people get them rewarded based on pop tokens or trade them in for pop tokens or whatever, where they can get just for attending meetings. So they're still paying with their time, they're just not paying with their pocketbook. Their contribution to the community comes from the time that they put in and the method that they acquired those tokens, but again, not through their pocketbook. The day we make it, we could never make speech for pay. It'll never amount to that again. But that is an important part of private communities and things. So I think it's important. I think we want to do that for businesses. We want to do that for people coming in to share projects. We just need a pool that doesn't require it. It may not be practical, but people may get more respect going through the other way. And at the same time, people are not going to pay. They're going to go through the effort. It should be enough that it makes a positive impact on the community. The community already knows it.
Very interesting points. Thank you, Marco. Does anybody have any thoughts about this? I can also share my screen now and provide a bit more details about what I was sharing as well, if you guys would like, which might be helpful. But we can also discuss something that Vlad and I were talking about and that Vlad sees as a high priority, and I agree with too, is figuring out an agenda system, which is really related to this and related to what you were saying, Marco, because we have to allocate time. And I don't think I think it makes sense that we can use numbers on the blockchain to help allocate time. And I don't think it's like paying for speech, because it's just like it's, I mean, people have free speech outside the community, and people can share what they want, and if people are cool with it within the community, that's cool. But like, it's helpful to have some structure. So
absolutely, it just a pool just provides that thing, so it doesn't get to any weird point. But no, absolutely, we need to. I mean, I come from a place where there's a big clock on the Hudson River that's like 50 feet tall that you can see clearly the time across on it. So yeah, no, time is money is where I come from. But you know, there's apocalyptic sci-fi movie after sci-fi movie where they can get dangerous, and we can just avoid the whole conversation of us being in those lines, but just having a small 1-2% pool on it. But no, I'm totally for it. I'm just looking out for the pitfalls.
cool. Thanks, Marco. Yeah, it's good to think about all the different ways they can go. And yeah, for sure, we want to respect freedom of speech, and there's lots of dystopian features that could go wrong. Pascal also shared in the comments that we could charge 2 EOS for 3 minutes. Each week we can allocate 15 minutes for Project Peach. I think you meant pitch there, or peaches. Maybe using Eden Fractal account for multi-sig in case we need support devs or any contribution. It's not paying to speak. So I think in general, it's probably best not to use the Eden Fractal multi-sig too much. Like Dan Larimer and the Fractal team was talking a lot about shared pools of assets and how a community can be independent by using its own its own respect, and how shared pools of assets, if they get big, then they become liability for whoever is on the MSIG, but potentially it could work for a relatively small amount like we're doing now. So that might be worth exploring. It would be kind of cool to have something like really currently valuable at stake too, although it might be easier to start with just like the Eden respect too, because that's kind of more clearly like it's not like a payment and we're all friends. We all know each other well. So I don't think we need to charge each other like actual money right now, but just playing it with a game is what I was thinking of with Cagendas, where and maybe I'll share my screen briefly if everybody's cool with that, just so I can show, because if people aren't familiar with it, I recommend everybody check out the brainstorming session that we had just yesterday that Patrick organized. So I'll share a couple of things quickly, and everybody, please feel free to jump in if you have any thoughts or questions on that. But so Patrick organized this brainstorming session. Sorry, my windows are a bit confusing. Patrick explained an overview of it in this week's town hall, and I published a video that's like 7 minutes long where he provided an overview of it. And I also provided an overview as well. So that's on the Eden Creators YouTube channel. And then just yesterday we met and Patrick published a video. There were 7 of us who met. The main topic that we discussed was the Cagendas game that I proposed or suggested. It's kind of an early work in development, but we had some good insights about it. And also, I think in future ones, we can also discuss other kinds of agenda systems too. So I put together the page edencreators.com/agenda, which has lots of resources where Vlad and Tadas and several others, Lennie, have already put together some ideas for how we can schedule. It seems like Pascal's kind of engineering a new system too, and he's saying we could charge 2 EOS and we can allocate 50 minutes. So this is, I think it's all the same discussion, whether it's allocating speaking time and potentially paying for it, or agendas. We're trying to figure out how to allocate that time. So this discussion is really interesting. I recommend people check it out and then join the next one at, it's gonna be every other Tuesday for the next 2 Tuesdays. So the next one's on the 29th at 16 UTC. And then you can check out the page edencreators.com/cagendas, where I kind of broke down this game. I don't know if everybody's familiar with it now, so if I'm going over it being repetitive, then feel free to let me know. But basically, it's a game where people could vote with respect tokens or respect points, and people could bid on kind of 5-minute time slots or vote on it. And then at the end of each 5 minutes, then whichever one gets the most votes is the one that's the discussion topic. There were some criticisms or problems with this that were discussed in the brainstorming session, specifically that this is all in real time and it doesn't have the ability to do it like in advance during the week, which can be helpful. And then also people said that just having 5-minute time slots might be too restrictive. So I agree. I think that this game could be really cool and really fun, really helpful for many communities. But I think that those criticisms also make sense too. And then, yeah, what I said before, those are consensus results, but maybe I'll share those stuff about rules later, so as not to overload. But yeah, basically, like I've also been thinking too about the agendas. Like maybe we could do it with 1-minute time slots and do it in advance too. So that might be another way to do it. But yeah, I'm interested to hear what people think about it. Does anybody else have any thoughts you'd like to share?
I really like the game idea.
You like it?
One of the things that I see in this experiment that we are making is like, we want fractal governance to work, right? This is where I stand about. We want the fractal governance. Let's say I want to go learn what Duane is doing in his own alien world, doing fractal governance. And then I can go there just to learn how they are doing the governance, and so that I can apply in my own project. But that community can say, okay, it's anyone wants to come and pitch his idea here. We may charge him with our talk in their token, like the Duane token. You know? So if we model our different projects in that way, I know we may have to run with the tokens, but by using the token that exists in the market, we are on EOS. So everybody use EOS to like a token to reward people attention in their community. We are demonstrating that this thing is working. So that's why the idea of cross-community reward system can come into place. If Duane want to share how they are doing fractal governance in their community, I can invite him in my community so we can share the idea. it's some not for us to brainstorm so that we don't fall apart. We don't have a way to keep ourselves together. So I'm just throwing out in our thinking how we can structure ourselves.
Yeah, good points, Pascal. Thank you. I saw that Das had his hand raised too. Das also shared the link to the mind map where you can see the output from brainstorming session. And I shared a couple links in the chat too. People can check out more about Cagendas and the brainstorming session. And yeah, I feel like charging, like if somebody were to come from the Wax community, the Hive community, or wherever, like I feel like at this point, there's only 10 of us on this call right now, or 11 of us rather. And the amount that we charge would be pretty small, I imagine. So I feel like it makes more sense to charge when there's more people, and when like at this point, if somebody wanted to come from a different community and share what they're doing, as long as they're respectful and it was interesting, then I wouldn't really expect or want to have to make them pay for it. I want to just say, oh, just come over and just tell us about it and stuff, and just be respectful with the time, but share your cool stuff. But at the same time, as it grows, then we need to allocate better. And then even now, like it's helpful to refine these processes for the future, for when it grows more too. So, but I think it is really interesting though. Maybe we could combine it in some way with both EOS and respect, like work with both. But I see Marco has hands up.
Isn't there a protocol already for something like this where unofficially you could trade, say, Eden for EOS that has worked in the past? Since people want to be trading a lot, they just know that someone volunteers from the community to take the Eden tokens at for the speaking for the time spent speaking here, so you could track it, but it's not officially tracked. That's where it's. I don't know where that's been done. I read across that in blockchain a couple of times. We're not officially doing it. Someone else just is. They can shut it down whenever they want. It's a few more peer-to-peer rather than organized. It's not contingent upon what we do, but it's regular enough that people take the chance to invest in it.
I'm not totally sure what you mean, Marcus. You saying that you think there's a protocol that already facilitates this, or did I misunderstand you?
Not a real protocol, just a standard of operation. I believe what Pascal was saying that by employing EOS to this idea of paying for time, it becomes more visible. Instead of officially adopting that, someone just volunteers to do that.
Okay, thanks for clarifying. Yeah, I mean, so far we've kind of just been going with an ad hoc, just see how it goes, and it works out pretty well for the most part, especially when we have a small group like here. And most people aren't being very talkative, so I encourage everybody to share your thoughts more. If you'd like, it'd be great to hear from some more voices. It's been mostly me, Pascal, and Marco so far. But yeah, I think it works like pretty well, just ad hoc and casual like we're doing it now. But in some weeks too, we've had lots of proposals. Like there was one week we had 6 proposals for setting the agendas, and then there's been several other weeks where people have been, really excited to pass certain proposals. And when people care a lot about the common goal and people see it in different ways, then it's helpful to have a process that is built in to facilitate that. And if there's anything that's built already, then we can use that. Or if not, then we have both the Eden plus fractal process and also the respect points, which are pretty good tools to help people make decisions and allocate time when we use them the right way. And then going back to what I was talking about with Eric before, or what Eric was talking about Duane and all these different ideas, is I think this is a pretty key component because like both for our community, as we've experienced trying to make proposals and pass proposals in the Eden Fractal, but then also for all communities, like we can kind of package together both the Eden plus Fractal process and the tools where people can come to consensus in the hour, and then package that together in the same kind of website / app / tool offering that also has, okay, well, you did the hour with the Eden plus Fractal process, and now the hour afterwards, now you can use this process to set your agendas and set discussions and so forth. So it's helpful for us now, and then I think it'd be really helpful to design for future communities as well, and could be kind of like a whole cooperating system in a sense for communities, or several tools packaged together at least. Yeah, Pascal said we're just getting general sentiment for now. No need to hurry that in place, and we have time to think about it. Yeah, I'm kind of also too. So I did a lot of work sharing this Cagendas idea and doing the brainstorming sessions over the past couple of days. So I'm at a point where I'm like kind of just reflecting upon it, and then also bringing in Pascal's ideas too, which are new about using EOS too. So I'm not sure what the best solution is, but thinking about it, and we'll have a lot more to share and a lot more concrete thoughts, I suppose, by next week. And then also too, so we've been doing this half hour for the break room for about a half hour, but if people don't have things to say or just wants to cut and want to get the meeting short, then we could always have a shorter meeting today and then regroup next week. Or of course, if anybody has any other thoughts or directions, then this is also a great time to discuss it as well.
Yeah, I'll say this. I was surprised by how active the Pomelo season continued to get. As I expected most of it to be relatively busy. I expected a few projects to come in at the end. We saw little peaks of donations and things like that. To see the Helios come in at the end with the big donation, and a couple of other ones that went in and just went around the community and donated. So the conversation is going to grow, and it's nice to have a Telegram or Discord. But here we have the opportunity to inspire people to get to know the community, and if we're prepared for that, we're prepared to catch those who are willing to come and discuss building EOS, building the new EOS, maybe just kind of following the vibe from the ENF tour here, person to person, people who want to contribute, not just use EOS or use apps, or maybe people who do want to use them, but they just want to get to know the builders. We're prepared for that, and I think Eric is probably the best one to identify and to take advantage of some of the stuff, as well as brainstorming sessions. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Good points, Marco. And I really appreciate you sharing all these ideas and thoughts here too. So yeah, I agree. I'm really glad that Eric's been joining the Eden Fractal meetings lately. Thanks so much, Eric. And I love Eric's vision for how he's working with different communities and associations, and bringing in a lot of different ways in terms of how we can both market this and help explain the benefits of this fractal process to people. So I'm excited for the things that we'll build together, and for everybody's initiatives too. Also too, Pascal has the ThiagoRe initiative too, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, which is really exciting. If you'd like to introduce that, Pascal, that would be cool. Or if anybody else wants to introduce any projects, that would be cool as well. But I've only had the chance to skim it so far, but I'm looking forward to diving more deeply into that. And then, yeah, Marco, what you're saying with Helios too, I think that there's a lot of really exciting things happening in EOS that will be growing, and we can grow with that too. So like all the investment in people who want to help EOS, we can provide a great place for people to participate.
Well, just a quick thought that just added on there. With Pomelo and their deadlines, we have sort of indicators of when to really push things, either sponsor things or whatever, just to light a fire or add fuel to the fire of the inspiration of Pomelo. And I just used the building on EOS to add to that. But I think there's certain ways to target, with maybe scheduling something right after fireside chat, something like that.
Yeah, that was also part of the idea with changing the time to 16 UTC. Now, so previously the EOS week, no, rather the EOS Leap weekly meetings were at the same time. They're at 13 UTC, and there's like 12 great builders like Daniel Keys and Michael from EOS USA who are there too. So I don't know if anybody's reached out to them again since we changed the time, but now we can reach out to them and see if they're interested in joining. And then, yeah, we can also work together with other events like EOS Fireside Chat. Patrick gave a great speech on that yesterday. So yeah, I agree, Marco. And I see that Pascal shared the image.
There was an error.
Okay.
Sorry, I'll just.
Yeah.
I cancel it back.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and I think that just came to mind too, that I just figured might be helpful to share here too, is I think that it would be really helpful in addition to having the agenda system of some sort or some way that people can get speaking time in like some good system or credible initial way. Like, I think it would be cool too to make an environment where people can feel more comfortable to promote their projects. Because like this is a great time to both discuss proposals, and I suppose if there's lots of proposals, then we can just focus on proposals. But also just hearing what people are up to as well. Like so far, it's been casual, and it's been great hearing from Marco in the beginning about what he's doing with crypto briefings and Eric and all these different things. But I don't know, sometimes people might not feel comfortable to share projects if it's not asked for already. But if we have a system where people can just be like, okay, I want to allocate 3 minutes to go share what I'm doing here, like that would be really cool. And like myself too, like I was sharing these projects with a screen share, but I don't want to speak too much and like just promote too much. But if there's a system whereby like it's like, okay, everybody kind of agrees to a system where you can bid on 3 minutes or whatever to share your project, then that can make people more comfortable to share their projects, and then have it as a place where it's like a place where people can learn about each other's projects and people can come to promote and do their projects. An idea that I think is worth exploring. I think another value about agenda system that I hadn't previously realized. But yeah, if anybody's any thoughts with that, I'd be happy to hear it. Or if Pascal, maybe you'd like to introduce the ThiagoRe, is that how you pronounce it? Or
ThiagoRe.
Was that?
ThiagoRe, on-chain reward.
Okay.
So that is reward content producer. It's basically the idea we have. Fractally was designed. We had the governance, the social media, and the DeFi. So it didn't materialize. So, but as a community, everybody had an account on Hive. So I'm just using the Hive blockchain layer 2 solutions to do the same as Hive. So it's a rewarding it's a rewarding platform for those that produce content around Bitcoin, EOS, arts, and environment. So these are the topics that the content producer will be rewarded. So I'm gonna have like a token there, a dual token system, and then I'll be introducing like fractal governance to distribute the tokens, the token that has the governance part of it. So anybody who knows how Hive works, you will quickly understand the system. But all the fractal members, they have already an account. Everybody has already a Hive account. So it's gonna be relatively easy to start the system, because we don't need to create an account anymore. So, yeah, thanks for that. So.
Okay, great. Thank you, Pascal. I just shared some links too. Of course, feel free to share if there's other links, but those are links that you shared with me last week. And yeah, this sounds very cool and very helpful, and a great collaboration between Bitcoin, EOS, and Hive communities too. So thank you very much, and I'm very excited to explore this more.
I'm surprised why there's just not more people on Hive interested in EOS after the NFT.
Was that a question, Marco?
just keeps running through my mind. Why,
Okay.
with Dan coming back and posting on Hive and in person and the E&F on tour and things like that. Just why more people on Hive didn't find their post interesting or decide to come over. More people talking about Hive here, or I was surprised. It seems very complacent.
Yeah, and it's the blockchain is designed for that. It's working, you know. It's a social. It's designed for those that create contents. You know, so it's already working. So it's
Yeah, Hive is a great platform from my experience with Fractally. It seems like it's quite well developed too. Like it seems like there's a lot of people who are really smart who are building it actively and creating on it, and also it works quite well already from my experience too. Cool. So yeah, I'm looking forward. Thanks, Marco and Pascal, for sharing your thoughts, and thanks so much, Pascal, for doing all of this work. Just to be clear, how do you pronounce it?
ThiagoRe. ThiagoRe.
ThiagoRe rewards. Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Thanks.
Cool. So yeah,
the token going to be called Thiago.
Nice.
The token name, Thiago.
What does Thiago mean? Does that have a meaning in a different language, or?
Thiago is an NFT. I mean, it's really strange. I minted that NFT on Hive, but it's the only NFT project that they came with names and professions. So when I minted my NFT, the name was Thiago, and the profession was marketers. So by that time is 1 year ago. So I just, okay, this is nice. I love the name, and then I love the professions that was there. So I just pick it. So, it's an NFC. It's an NFC that just picked the name. So
cool. I'd love to. It's a visual NFT. It's a picture of something.
Yeah, it's a punk. It's a cypher.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I'd love to see it sometime. I think I saw you had a picture that was of punk or something like that. So maybe I have seen it before, but it sounds very cool. And yeah, awesome. Another so Pascal, I'm very interested to hear if you'd like to share any more details. That would be great. And I'm super interested in this project. But anything I'll say too that struck me while you were sharing this too, and connecting together some thoughts that I think is really cool and inspiring, and I'd be curious to hear people's thoughts about as well, is the idea of, so I've been sharing this idea called DAMS, which is Decentralized Autonomous Movie Studios. It's an acronym for that. And basically the idea is that, like, I see these Fractally meetings that we're doing, the Eden Fractally meetings that we're doing, as like, in addition to us having great networking events and sharing our work and doing productive work and having fun and getting to know each other and stuff like that, I see it also as having immense value in creating videos together. It's a collaborative video making process. And I've been working on scaling up the production game with Eden Fractal, and over the past 5 weeks or so, I've been making some nicer thumbnails and introductions, and then timestamps so that people can enjoy the videos and watch the videos more, and sharing the videos more. And also, a couple weeks ago, I shared my presentation that I gave during a breakout room, and I see where everybody can, like, we can attract more creative filmmakers and writers and entrepreneurs of all sorts, and incentivize and inspire people to help make great videos that spread the word about what people are doing, both for Eden as a whole and then each person's individual projects, and like projects like ThiagoRe, and projects like crypto briefings, and all these different projects. Like, so we're making videos together already. And another thing that is combined with this is just this past town hall. It was really cool. And for the first time we had it where people were sharing presentations where they're sharing screens. So I shared my screen and shared some of the stuff that I was working on, excited about. And then Patrick he also shared the screen, talked about the brainstorming sessions and showed the mind map. And then there's also Joaquin from the Hive team. He shared his screen and he was talking about the Hive developments of Eden, and Nicola from the ESBs, he shared a screen, was talking about recent swarms of the bees. So it was really cool with people sharing the screens. It was very visual. It's great doing this like this with our faces too, but we have the ability to share our screens and then also talk and share our stories and share what we're working on. And I was just thinking, when we combine like the agenda system with the video system, then we can have it where like when somebody gives a presentation or shares something, like for example, when Pascal was introducing ThiagoRe right there, like we could cut a video. So like I'll go back and I'll make a timestamp about that so people can easily find it. But still, a timestamp's not super easy to find. But at some point, taking that and like providing opportunity where people who speak and share their idea, like they get both a timestamp and the full video, and then we can cut a clip where it's like Pascal introduces ThiagoRe during Eden Fractal session, and then we make like a nice little intro, a nice thumbnail, and then there's like a 3-minute thing where it's both like a video of Pascal, talking about it, and then also showing the website and showing the article and stuff like that. And then Eden Fractal, during this hour afterwards, we can have like great videos being created that are also kind of facilitated by the agenda system. So that's kind of a big idea here. Also, see you, Vlad. Thank you. He said next week we have to vote for the agenda system. So sounds good. There's also some questions from Jorge in the chat for Marco and Das. But yeah, I'm very curious to hear what people think about that. And if I'm also just going on rambles and tangents, then feel free to jump in too. I'm just getting excited about this idea. But Marco, do you have thoughts about it? Pascal, thank you.
Yeah, is Google's what is it called? Pause, and then gives you the option to start the video from the beginning, to get a link for the video from the beginning, or at the pause time. Is that open source? Or is there an open source tech for that? Because that would just make it easy. You get the video, you upload it, and then just pause it where you want and share the link.
What's the technology? You're talking about the timestamp technology that YouTube has, or?
YouTube. Yeah, YouTube, you pause it anywhere and you just share a link from that time. Is that open source? Because if it is, we can start that now. We just need an endpoint, but I'm sure that's built into it. You don't have to put it yourself.
Yeah, I think that, I don't know. I'd imagine that YouTube is closed source, and right now I'm just very dependent on YouTube, which isn't great, but maybe a library or some other, like Odyssey might have that feature as well. But for now, I mean, we can use
it doesn't
YouTube.
matter. But it really doesn't matter, because if you upload it to YouTube, you just pause it at that point. Just need the endpoint. At any point, any second, you can share that link and it starts right there. I do it all the time when I'm citing stuff in video, I'm citing words. But I don't know if there's an endpoint, because that's what we want, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, we need the functionality that YouTube has for timestamps, so, and where you can save and share a link to any point in the YouTube video. And I think that's sufficient. I don't think we need anything else. I mean, eventually we'll need different services that aren't centralized mega corporations like Google who are doing it, because there's risks that come with that. But I think for now, we have sufficient tools to do so.
You weren't talking about another type of timestamp. You were just talking about getting the clip, right?
Yeah, well, I was talking about, for one thing, you can timestamp it in the video, and then you can also share a link to the specific timestamp. And that's what we have right now. Like if you check the most recent Eden Fractal videos on the Eden Creators YouTube channel, then you can go and click the description, and then there's like 20 different timestamps of people talking about different things. And then, of course, also you can go and, if you want to just share a link to 1 hour and 32 minutes and 7 seconds with your friend, then you can do that as well. So we have that already. And then what I was suggesting as well is we can amplify that process by not just having timestamps, but say, rather than just saying, Pascal discussed ThiagoRe at 1 hour and 32 minutes, we can say he did that, and you can click that link and see in the full video. But also we have a 3-minute video where Pascal introduced it at the Eden Fractal event. People ask questions, and then we also produce it with like nice visuals and stuff as well.
Yeah, I like that. And combining that with Twitter.
Yeah, then tweet it, swarm it. You have some thoughts, Eric?
Yeah, so just so you know, we've been talking about this idea of creating a video studio, place for people to interact from that video content. So we've already approached the local high school who's building a new media studio for them. And so the idea is the Fallbrook Art Association is looking to form a partnership. They're open to it with the high school. So we're looking to actually help them set up a program where this could fit in. So this video studio that I've been talking about for a while, the concept of that is start seeding it with the local high school video program and then move it beyond high school. But I'm actually talking about starting it with getting a bunch of young kids who want to play. And then I'm talking about putting that representation of that studio on an Alien Worlds planet too. So you can get it anywhere, but I also want to put an endpoint at the Center for Arts on one of the Duane's planets. So that's the link, is how do we get dams into the art association, into a high school, into an Alien Worlds planet.
Right. Fascinating and really exciting too. I was just imagining local communities and schools and kids being empowered with this and making awesome videos together. That's really exciting, and I'm very grateful for the work you're doing there.
Then the other thing is, then we work with the other art associations. We've got lots of them where I live, and then I've got one in Ohio. And the idea is then after we create a template, share it with them, see if they want to duplicate. This is the same thing we did for maritime clusters worldwide, and we created those worldwide. So you share it with them, and then pretty much you're feeding each other. Oh, I learned this, we learned that. So think of it as communities, and think of it as a community of communities who want to share what they've learned and want to do partnerships. And so we create education, which I think is important, and youth with community, with the metaverse.
Yep, absolutely. And I think it ties into what we were talking about too, what you're working on with Duane, and what I've been thinking about with sharing this in a format and like a product or a package that people can easily digest. And then once they get that tool, then they can do the videos and they can do it with classmates, and then can be connected with Alien Worlds community. And this process can be really helpful for people and make amazing videos. And then those videos can be profoundly helpful for spreading the word about the process as well, and spreading the word about
well, and then we hope to have a representation of that at the art gallery. So when you go into the art gallery, some of the space is traditional art. Then we have a screen for digital art that you can go in there and look at that on the wall. Then another screen for this video art. So we're looking at packaging this in some form that somebody can go into an art gallery and real quickly have an experience with it, and then have that same experience maybe different on an Alien Worlds planet. And we're not trying to limit it to Alien Worlds planets or to the gallery. We're just saying, just make a template and then use things like swarms and all that to tell everybody about it and expand it from there. So that's not the end goal, is to just have this thing with this one group. The end goal is to create a template which can be duplicated and then collaborated on, and all over the place. So we've had 2 meetings with the high school so far. They're focused on building their new media center. They're actually working out the library. And, my goal, I'm trying to get ready to do this big push in January, is kind of the time frame that I've been working on for a while. So I'm hoping that I can have some tool at some level, even if it's the simplest thing, that I can roll out and start doing these meetings with the Fallbrook volunteers, and that add that video as part of that.
Which video specifically are you referring to there?
All the ones they make.
Okay.
I'm saying I want to create this process and things for making decisions about the gallery and also about events. So the idea is to have this big event, 1 to 3 events next year that highlight the mission, a community-wide event that highlights the mission of this. So I don't know what those events are. I mean, I have ideas but I don't want it to be all my idea. So I want to bring them in and propose these community-wise events that when you go in, feature this in some way, feature, you know, music or video. And I have some crazy ideas that I've done before physically, but I haven't done, you know, in quite this way that, you know, no one's ever seen before. That's pretty cool. So we can talk about that at a later time.
Fantastic. Thank you, Eric. I'm very much looking forward to talking with this more and seeing what your plans do. This sounds really cool. Marco, do you have thoughts?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to mention MetaCollect. If Eric's not familiar, they're the people that were behind CryptoWriter, started on EOS, and they have an actual gallery, an NFT dedicated gallery on in Australia, and they also work with and buy art. I don't know too many. I know they exist. That's the only one on EOS. It's not EOS. It's,
currently we're working with Seppuku 18 to put, who has an NFT gallery. So that's who we're currently working. Her name is Seppuku 18. That's all I know. Yeah. So, but that, who knows, you know, things fall and do, but right now that's the person interested in working on with us from the NFT side.
Yeah, she joined a couple weeks ago too, and she said she's going to try to join again soon. So she's really nice and does really great work with like Upland and a few other different games, I think, like Second Life, and she's also getting involved with Alien Worlds now as well.
So, but that's just one of the views is NFTs. The other one is digital art. The other one is video. The other one is music. So these are all creative galleries that we're looking to promote, both with physical community events and with, you know, virtual events and digital events too. But what's exciting to me is using fractal governance to decide what events, why do we want events, what's the purpose, how do we organize them. So it's about executing these events and operation, but I push the operation by having events. Events create dates and drive people. So we have an event to do this that uses this stuff, then we'll see changes in all these based on the fact that, you know, events make things concrete. You know, a gallery is nice, it's always there, but a big competition to see who gets in this gallery showing or something, then all of a sudden you can market it and do all kinds of things with it.
Yeah, absolutely, very exciting, and I agree that the events can help promote it too, and this also kind of serves as an event too that can help promote and facilitate the gallery work as well, and as you said, can help make decisions about the gallery. All right, so yeah, if Eric would like to share more about this, I'd be very interested to hear. Of course, if you have any other ideas or want to bounce off ideas, or if anybody else has other thoughts, then it'd be cool to hear it. We've also been going for over 2 hours now, so it's probably a good idea to wrap up the video fairly soon. I would just like to close it off with a couple of final thoughts, and I'll also share my screen briefly. So one thing, if you guys haven't checked it out yet, I'd appreciate if you take a look at the DAMS page. It's at edencreators.com/DAMS. I shared it in the chat. There's a lot here, so you don't obviously have to check out all of it, and it's up to you how much you want to check out. But there's also a video where I summarize it in like 15 minutes. There's a bit of a table of contents, and then there's a video here where I submitted for the Ideathon where I explained how I see how we can make videos together. So I think this is really powerful. And another thing that just came out with this too, or that I just realized, is that with Zoom, I can, whoever's the host of Zoom can do recordings in every like camera angle too. So we could potentially, like, that's already built with Zoom, so we can use that to make lots of cool videos. And then also, as Vlad said before, he wants to pass the agenda to figure out some sort of agenda system and approve it next week. So I think it's a good idea. We've discussed it a lot for the past few weeks or past couple months now, even now. At edencreators.com/agenda, there is a summary of, well, there's a lot of writing, so I should maybe move my writing down, but there's also proposals from Vlad and Tadas and Lennie and Felix and myself, and Jesse had a similar proposal too. We've discussed this, but if anybody wants to review those, you can see their proposals here as well in the Discord, but I try to curate it so you can see Vlad's proposal, and Tadas had a very interesting proposal too. So I'd encourage everybody to look at these for next week, and then consider our discussions today and consider what the best way to allocate time is and to do agendas. And then also there's the Cagendas proposal too, or Cagendas game, which I'd appreciate if anybody has any feedback about that as well. And then also the mind map and the video where you can learn more from the brainstorming sessions about Cagendas and in general about agenda systems and so forth. So I think that would be a cool thing for people to look into for next week. And so we can come prepared with ideas, and maybe has any other ideas about best ways to allocate time or any other ways to help the community for next week's meeting. That would be really cool. But yeah, overall, I'm really excited about our progress. I'm thankful for everybody doing amazing work. Vlad and Jorge were talking about some really cool things going on with the Spanish fractal and Zeo's fractal, and Duane was talking about Alien Worlds fractal, and we have lots of cool things going, especially Eric's initiatives, and Lennie's starting to do recaps now for Eden Fractal, and Marco launched the crypto briefings website, and Pascal with ThiagoRe, and Tadas and Extra. So yeah, I just want to say thanks to everybody for all the great work, and thanks everybody for watching. And I suppose we can wrap it up here, or does anybody have any thoughts you'd like to share or anything else you'd like to discuss? So far, we got an airplane from Marco. I'll also say to Jesse at the beginning of the call, he mentioned new features with the bees too. Bees are doing great comments too. So thanks, Jesse and the bees for that. And Extra, thanks for joining. Hope that you're doing well. Extra's also doing really cool stuff with LV2 as well. And so yeah, Jesse gave a thumbs up. Tadasa, thanks everyone. See you next week. So I think that's good. We got thumbs up from Pascal. We could end it on like a Go EO or something like that, or Go Eden Fractal. Shall we end it with something fun, or shall we just say sign off and say goodbye? Any suggestions?
Yeah, I suggest to say, yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, like Go Spanish Fractal. Yeah.
Sounds good. Yeah, baby. Go Spanish Fractal. If people didn't realize too, there's now a yeah, baby in the interface now to that Vlad and Patrick colluded to build. But yeah, baby. Sounds good. And
Yeah,
Go
baby.
Spanish Fractal. And Go Eden
Yeah.
Fractal.
That was actually a joke. Of course, we are in the Eden Fractal. So at the count of 3, yeah, baby, Go Eden Fractal. Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds
1,
good.
2,
2,
3.
3.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby. Go Eden Fractal.
I think we have to rehearse that a bit better.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.
Here's
Bye.
that. Bye.
Okay, cool. Thanks so much, everybody. See you later.